Most men chase, but the guy she truly wants, she chases him. And today I'm giving you the one shift that makes a woman pursue you, even if she's been distant, cold, or losing interest. Watch closely, because most men never hear this truth. The idea that you have to constantly prove yourself, constantly impress her, constantly give more and more attention just to be valued, is actually the very thing pushing women away. What I'm about to share can completely transform your relationships, rebuild your confidence, and make you the man women are naturally drawn to, without games, without manipulation, and without pretending to be someone you're not. Let me ask you something simple but powerful. Have you ever noticed that the men women chase are rarely the ones begging for attention? They're not glued to their phone waiting for a text. They're not saying, "Please, just tell me what I did wrong." They're not nervous about whether she likes them or not. Instead, they stand calm, they stand grounded, they stand strong in who they are, and somehow, without even trying, women want to be around them. They want to win their approval. They want to impress them. And men who haven't discovered this yet often sit there wondering, what do those guys have that I don't? Why is it so easy for them while I'm always the one trying harder? The answer is not looks. It's not money. It's not height, muscles, or popularity. The one thing that makes women chase a man is simply this: a powerful sense of self-worth that is not dependent on female validation. That is the shift. That is the difference. When a man knows his value and lives like he knows it, everything changes. Women feel it. They respect it. They are drawn to it on a deep biological and emotional level. Because confidence, real confidence, is the most masculine energy a woman can feel. It makes her instinctively want to move toward you instead of you always moving toward her. Now, here's the important part. Most men are trained from a young age to believe the opposite. Society tells men, be nice, be available, be agreeable, always do whatever she asks, never say no, sacrifice everything and she'll choose you. But real life experience shows the opposite. When a man gives too much, too fast, without knowing his value, he loses mystery, he loses boundaries, and he loses the respect that attraction is built on. Women don't chase comfort, women chase strength. That strength comes from living in a calm, grounded, unshakable sense of self. This shift is not about playing games like waiting certain hours to text back or pretending you're not interested. It's about becoming a man whose life is full, meaningful, and driven by purpose, so that a woman feels like being part of your world is something she must earn, not something she is automatically given. Think about the men you admire, whether real or fictional. Men like Nelson Mandela, Muhammad Ali, Clint Eastwood, Steve Jobs, or Denzel Washington. None of those men were ever desperate for approval. They lived by their own mission. They knew who they were. They did not chase because they understood something crucial. A man on a mission is magnetic. Psychologists call this principle self-determination theory, which states that people are most attracted to those who live with autonomy, competence, and purpose. Women feel safe around that type of man because he is steady. He isn't emotionally reactive, insecure, or needy. He doesn't collapse just because someone doesn't approve of him. The strongest relationships are built when both people see value in each other. But the chase only exists when a woman believes a man is worth chasing. And here's where real life comes in. Maybe you've been in a relationship where you gave everything, your time, your emotional energy, your effort, and instead of appreciation, you got distance. You tried harder, and somehow she pulled further away. You thought, if I love her enough, she'll come closer. But instead, she became colder. Many men in their 50s, 60s, and 70s tell the same story. They say, I did everything right. I worked hard, I provided, I was loyal, I stayed committed, and still she left. And that experience leaves a mark. It shakes a man's confidence. It makes him feel like nothing he does is good enough. But here's the truth almost no one explains. Love alone is not enough if attraction is gone. Attraction is not built on how much a man gives. It is built on how a man carries himself. When a man loses himself in a relationship, when his world becomes only her, she stops feeling respect. Without respect, attraction dies. Without attraction, connection fades. When connection fades, women do what they're biologically wired to do. They pull back to test if the man will step into strength or collapse into insecurity. So the question becomes, how do you rebuild that strength? How do you become the man she pursues again? Not because you force her, but because she genuinely wants to. It begins with emotional independence. Not coldness, not detachment. Emotional independence means you choose her, but you do not need her to feel complete. You enjoy her presence, but your life is meaningful with or without her. You express affection, but you maintain boundaries. You give attention, but not all your attention. You care deeply, but you never sacrifice your identity for love. Women are drawn to a man who knows he's enough, even alone. I once spoke with a marriage counselor who had been guiding couples for over 30 years. He said something profound. The most attractive man is the one who can walk away if he is no longer respected, not because he wants to leave, but because he values himself enough not to stay where he is unloved. That is the quiet power that makes a woman chase. When she knows you love her, but you do not fear losing her, she feels safe, she feels challenged, and she feels inspired to invest back into the relationship. And here's something fascinating. According to the Journal of Social Psychology, people value what they earn more than what they are given easily. This applies to relationships too. When a woman has to put in effort to communicate, to show interest, to support you, to participate in your world, she feels more bonded, more connected, more committed. When everything is handed to her emotionally without any effort, she becomes bored. Women do not fall in love by receiving. Women fall in love by investing. If you think back to your strongest relationships, you'll see the pattern. The best connections were not with women you chased desperately. They were with women who met you halfway. Women who respected your time. Women who cared when you spoke. Women who showed appreciation. Women who wanted you as much as you wanted them. That balance creates chasing from both sides. That's where love grows. But the men who struggle in dating or relationships today almost always struggle because they forget one crucial thing: your attention is valuable. And when you treat it like it's cheap, other people treat it the same way. The moment a man places a woman above himself, he loses her. The moment he stands firm in who he is, she comes closer. And the beautiful part is, it only takes one change to create this shift, the decision to put your purpose and emotional strength first, not her, not the relationship, not fear, your purpose, your mission, your inner stability. When a man steps into that identity, everything around him transforms. His presence becomes stronger, his tone becomes calmer, his thinking becomes clearer, his decisions become more confident. He stops reacting and starts leading. That is the moment women feel something powerful, something instinctive, something that pulls them in without words. And that brings us to something incredibly important that we'll go deeper into in the second part of this video: the difference between attention and presence. Men give too much attention, constant texting, constant calling, constant checking in. But the men women chase give something far more valuable: presence. Presence is when you are confident, grounded, and fully in control of yourself. Presence is when you listen deeply but do not lose yourself. Presence is when you are emotionally calm no matter what happens. Presence is masculine energy, and feminine energy is magnetically drawn to it. When you learn how to live in presence, women begin to move toward you automatically because they feel something rare, something safe, strong, and deeply attractive. Now let's go deeper. Earlier, we talked about the difference between attention and presence. This is the heart of attraction, and understanding it will change everything. Attention is easy. Anyone can give attention. A man can text all day, send compliments, buy gifts, rearrange his schedule, and constantly ask how she's doing. But presence is rare. Presence is when a woman feels your strength without you saying a word. It's when she feels calm around you because you are calm within yourself. It's when she feels safe because you are emotionally stable and not controlled by insecurity, fear, or impatience. Women are biologically wired to be attracted to presence, not attention. Attention demands energy. Presence provides security. When a man has presence, a woman feels naturally drawn toward him. So how do you create presence? It begins with self-control. Not control over her, but control over yourself, your thoughts, your emotions, your reactions, and your energy. Imagine a man who panics every time he doesn't get a text back. Imagine him double texting, overthinking, rushing to fix something that isn't broken, or explaining himself repeatedly. That energy communicates weakness. But now picture another man. He sends a message and goes back to his life. He gives space. He doesn't assume the worst. He stays steady because he trusts himself. That calmness is presence, and a woman feels it without you speaking. She feels the difference instantly. When you master presence, the way you communicate transforms. You speak slower, you think before responding, you listen without interrupting, you maintain eye contact with ease. You don't rush to fill silence, you don't collapse when challenged, you don't beg to be understood. You stand firm in what you believe and express it respectfully. That is masculine energy. And feminine energy responds to it like steel responds to a magnet. It cannot resist it. There's a powerful principle in psychology called the law of least effort, which explains that in relationships, the person who tries harder usually loses value. When a man exerts too much effort, it signals imbalance. Attraction lives in balance. When both people invest equally, connection grows. But when one invests too much and the other invests too little, attraction dies. So the key is not doing more. The key is doing less, but with greater strength and intention. You shift from chasing to choosing, from pleading to leading, from reacting to responding. And when you stand in that energy, something remarkable happens. A woman begins to pursue you because she feels your value. A woman naturally moves toward a man who is rooted in purpose. Purpose is direction. Purpose is identity. Purpose is independence. When a man lives a purpose-driven life, whether that purpose is career, personal growth, health, family, faith, creativity, or contribution, he becomes deeply attractive. Women want to join a man who is going somewhere. They want to support a mission. They want to feel they are part of something meaningful. But when a man's mission becomes only her, that pressure destroys the relationship. She cannot be your purpose. She must be part of your journey, not the destination. Think back to when you first fell in love in your younger years. In the beginning, you weren't obsessed. You weren't trying too hard. You weren't waking up thinking only about her. You were busy living your life, working, building, dreaming, creating. And because you were focused on becoming something, women were interested. They admired your drive. You had goals and fire. Somewhere along the way, many men lose that fire. They slow down. They become comfortable. They put a woman above themselves. And the moment that happens, everything changes. Respect fades. Attraction dies. Distance grows. Not because she is cruel, but because biology speaks louder than intention. A woman needs to feel that she can rely on you emotionally. She needs to feel that you won't fall apart when she has a bad day. She needs to know that your strength is unshakable. Women test men, not consciously but instinctively, to see whether he is emotionally solid. She may withdraw, she may challenge you, she may push boundaries, she may disagree. These are not signs of disrespect, they are tests of stability. When a man collapses, reacts harshly, becomes needy, or begs for reassurance, she loses trust. But when he stays calm, patient, steady, and confident, she feels safe. And safety is the foundation of feminine attraction. The moment a woman feels protected and respected, she opens. She grows closer. She begins to pursue. So here is the one thing that makes women chase you automatically. Live a life where you are the prize. Not because you say it, but because you live it. When your life is full, interesting, and purpose-driven, women feel inspired to be part of it. When you stop chasing and start leading, she follows. When you stop seeking approval and start respecting yourself, she respects you. When you stop overgiving and start valuing your time, she values you. The shift begins within. You change your internal world, and your external world transforms. Let's talk about something many men struggle with: fear of loss. The fear of losing love is one of the strongest emotional fears a man can feel. It causes him to hold on too tightly, to give too much, to tolerate disrespect, to sacrifice dignity. But here's the truth. The moment you fear losing someone, you have already lost yourself. And the man who loses himself cannot be loved deeply. The most powerful man is the one who loves fully but is still willing to walk away if he is not respected. Not angrily, not dramatically, calmly. Self-respect creates attraction. Self-respect makes a woman chase because she realizes something rare. You are a man she cannot control emotionally, and she must earn your heart. When a woman sees that you are not desperate, not needy, not dependent on her affection, she becomes curious. Curiosity turns into interest. Interest turns into desire. Desire turns into effort, and effort turns into pursuit. She starts reaching out first. She asks to see you. She initiates affection. She values your time. She invests emotionally. She begins to chase because she feels your value, not because you demanded it, but because you lived it. Here's something powerful to remember. A woman falls in love with how a man makes her feel, and nothing makes a woman feel more drawn to a man than his emotional strength. When you stand strong during conflict, when you don't break under pressure, when you lead with calmness and kindness, when you communicate with patience and clarity, a woman sees a future with you. She sees reliability. She sees safety. And safety is more attractive to a woman than looks, money, or status. Many men never learn this and believe they must constantly prove themselves. But the truth is, the man who proves nothing often proves the most. Let me give you a real example. A man spent years trying to win back his wife's affection. He bought gifts, planned vacations, constantly apologized and rearranged his entire life for her. The more he tried, the more distant she became. Then one day, he stopped. He focused on himself. He rebuilt his health, reconnected with friends, started hobbies, and lived with purpose again. He stopped begging for love and started valuing himself. And something incredible happened. She came back. She apologized. She initiated conversations. She wanted to be near him. Why? Because he became attractive again. Not physically, but energetically. Women chase strength, never desperation. If you want a woman to chase you, don't say more. Say less. Don't do more. Do less, but with meaning. Don't rush toward her. Walk forward confidently and let her come to you. You don't win her heart by proving you're good enough. You win her by knowing you already are. So here is your challenge. Starting today, take your focus off women and put it onto yourself. Build your purpose. Build your health. Build your confidence. Build your peace. Build a life that inspires you. Because when you do this, women won't be something you chase. They will be something drawn to you automatically. They will feel your strength. They will feel your presence. They will feel your value. And they will pursue you because losing you would feel like losing something rare. Most men chase. But the man she truly wants,